And you've just heard No Such Thing as Belonging from Catriona Price's album, Hurt. And I'm delighted to be joined by Catriona now. Hello, Catriona.
Hi, Alistair. How's it going?
Really good, thanks. I'm really pleased to be talking to you. First of all, what can you tell us about Hurt?
Well, Hurt is my first solo album. It came out about a month ago on the 20th of January. And I say solo, but it's actually got 9 people on it. It's a piece I wrote. It's sort of a suite of music, and I wrote it for 9 brilliant musicians here in Glasgow.
I mean, that's really, you're not lying there, because one, I saw you live at the Celtic Connections with the full band playing, and then to read the list of who's on the album, I immediately said this is like a supergroup. I mean, it's an incredible set of musicians. Could you talk a little bit about who's on the album, who you play with, and how you got them involved?
Yeah, sure. So I decided to write the piece was actually originally a commission from Celtic Connections back in 2020. So I wrote it all at the second half of 2019, and then we just managed to squeeze it in before the pandemic happened. So it was a lovely open brief, the commission for the New Voices series that Celtic Connections do, and I was allowed to just do basically whatever I wanted. They said up to 8 musicians. So I went for the full 8, added an extra one on for the album, but we'll come to that. So I decided to sort of look at my favorite parts of all the different kind of parts of my musical personality, I suppose. So we've got a string quartet, we've got a vocal trio. So I use a lot of 3-part harmony in the album. And then there's also a jazz trio within the piece as well, and then some of the vocalists as well are also instrumentalists. So we've got a harp in there, we've got a bit of flute. So I just got to pick my favorite people. So I've got my duo partner Esther Swift, my 12th Day duo partner. She's in there. Couldn't do it without her. And so it was her and I, and then Sarah Hayes on the vocal trio parts. And then on the string quartet, it was myself, Shona Aitken, Alice Allen, and Sarah Leonard. And one of the tracks, actually the track that you just heard just now, No Such Thing as Belonging, when I wrote it, it just came out in this sort of like swing style, and I was like, well, there's only one person who could sing this, and luckily I already had booked Shona for the violin, so she's singing that one, which is amazing. And then on the back line, on the jazz trio sort of part of it, we've got my regular collaborators, Owen Williams on drums and Andrew Robb on bass. They also do stuff with Esther and I when we do full band 12th Day stuff. And then actually Sarah in the original lineup, Sarah was also doing keys. And then she couldn't make the full band recording sessions. So I got Tom Gibson to do the keys parts, and then thought, oh, since he's here, I'll just add keys onto another couple of tracks. And actually, I'm so grateful for that, because it's the keys sometimes, like, they sort of are the glue that holds everything together. And I think they really made the tracks, a couple of the tracks there. So we've got Tom there now too. So a merry band of 9.
And yeah, as I say, what a band it is, because it kind of reflects the personality of the album, in that, as you say, there's different styles of music there. You're bringing in lots of different things. And was that right from the beginning? That's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I guess it was quite an unconscious decision to do that. I guess when I write music, there's my 2 sort of main parts of my musical background are trad folk music and classical music. I sort of grew up simultaneously in both of those worlds. So I guess those sort of feelings, those colours will naturally always be in everything that I write. But then I'm also really influenced by jazz, by pop music, by just anything that I listen to, folk music from different parts of the world. Anything that I listen to and I think it's good, that'll sort of go into the melting pot. And then I won't ever consciously really think, I want this piece to sound jazzy, or I want this piece to sound folky, or whatever. It's just sort of what I feel the music needs for the theme I'm writing about, or the words I'm saying, or whatever it might be.
And the other side, I suppose, of call it an album's personality, it's not the right word, but is the inspiration, the words, as you say, because it's Arcadian writing and Arcadian writers that have kind of inspired the songs. Is that a good way of thinking about it?
Yeah, so I'd always had in my head that for my first sort of solo project or project that was coming out under my own name, I wanted to do something about Orkney, which is where I grew up, and I lived there until I was 17 and went away to study. And I grew up with George Mackay Brown's poetry just all around. It's kind of everywhere, and loads of books of it in the house. And I would always sort of refer back to it when I felt a pang of homesickness. George is just, he is such a master of just transporting you into that, just into the feeling of home. And he's just such a just absolutely like masterful writer, but really, really non-pretentious at the same time. It's super clever, but not pretentious in any way.
Yeah.
So I feel like it just always transported me right back home. So I always sort of went to that. And then when I came to, at first I thought this project would just be George's words, and then I revisited it, and I thought, after having gone away and seen a lot of the world and gotten lots of life experience, I was kind of thinking, what are the other perspectives of Orkney life that are being written about, and who's writing about them? And I wanted just to sort of maybe shine light on some of the more non-stereotypical characters that you maybe wouldn't think of when you first think of a small island community. So I ended up with this lovely diverse set of 8 writers. There's 6 poems that I set to music and 2 instrumentals that were inspired by books. So yeah, I just really enjoyed the whole process of digging around and discovering new to me poets who I maybe hadn't really experienced much of their work before.
Yeah, because it goes from George Mackay Brown right up to present day writers like Harry Josephine Giles and Luke Sutherland and others. The instrumentals are interesting because I was reading that they are influenced by novels.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like a feeling that you get from the novel that you then translate into the music?
Yeah, it's kind of more challenging to write an instrumental inspired by something, because I mean instrumental music is just more abstract, really, because like with a poem I've got the structure already, and it's just such a pleasure to set poetry to music, because it's like you're collaborating with something already. You've got the structure there that you can play around with on the page, and then also just the character of the words often really influence. Like that, again, that track you've just heard there, that sort of felt like it wrote itself, because the words are just so like humorous and I think so characterful, and it just sort of guided me, and it was just a lovely process. But yeah, with the instrumentals it's just a lot more abstract, so you have to think, okay, what's the feeling here that I want to put across? What's my sort of like sum up of this book? So one, Venus as a Boy, that's a novel, and then Energy at the End of the World, that's actually non-fiction, and it's all about renewable energy in Orkney, and how Orkney is just like a big power hub for renewable energy. So yeah, I guess just finding the character that I want to say, that I want to put across with the piece, and then just explore different structures. And it's a really nice kind of way to explore music making through an instrumental, because you can kind of just really dive in, and there's a lot of room to experiment and just go wild, basically. So really enjoyed them.
And has it changed the way you think about Orkney and your home doing the album itself?
It's been lovely to connect. It's been a lovely way to connect, actually, to get back to home, because I haven't lived there for, I can't even count how many, 15 years or something like that now, 14, 15 years, and my folks don't even live there anymore. So now I have to like make a really concerted effort to go. And luckily with my band Farah, we often go up and we play the folk festival, and we'll do different gigs up there, and but otherwise I've got to like really intentionally go. So it's been a lovely way to reconnect with home.
It's really interesting talking about the original, or one of the original influences being George Mackay Brown, because he's a favourite writer of mine as well. And I've never been to Orkney, but he's got that ability to take you to the place. He writes so beautifully and intricately about place that you can go there. But I think when you're from that place yourself, you've got it gives you another aspect to it, because you can almost, put your hand in the soil that, he's writing about or whatever. And I think what Hurt does is something similar. It's that it's full of identity and place and home and all of those things belonging. Like, I mean, I know it says no such thing as belonging, but that idea is all wrapped up there. And especially having seen it live and seen the songs be performed live, I got a real sense of being taken to another place that I had not yet visited.
Yeah, that's so lovely to hear. Yeah, it's I think the way it's come out is you do get a little bit of a sort of a journey through Orkney life, because it does touch on, it does touch on so many sort of different lifestyles, different aspects of life, different perspectives, and yeah, I hope that it encompasses a lot of different people's feelings and perspectives, and that it shows that they're, it's a small place, but it's absolutely rich with lots of different culture and lots of different ways of life.
Now, as well as the Celtic Connection gig, have you been on the road with the album as well? Have you been playing these songs live?
No, unfortunately not. Because it's such a big band. It's not the easiest thing.
As I was saying that, I was thinking, now that's a big undertaking to take everyone. Yeah,
but we do have plans in the pipeline. We've got another performance confirmed this year, which I can't say what it is yet, but it's exciting. So keep an eye on my social media, and that'll be announced in a couple of months, I think. And then I'm just, hustling away, trying to get other performances for it. Hopefully a festival here or there, or who knows, maybe at some point take it on the road for a short run. We'll see what we can get organised.
And how was it playing these songs live after all the time in the studio and coming up with the album? I mean, it seemed to be a really joyous evening, that everyone, it was one of these bands where you could see that the people on stage were having as much fun as the folk in the audience were. Is it a real joy to play them live now?
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's the kind of thing as well, you want to just do it more and more, because the more you do it, the more fun you can have with it. But everybody on stage is just so experienced and such a master of what they do. So it's really lovely just to I feel really relaxed playing with them. I don't really feel like I need to direct too much or anything like that. And yeah, we have a great time on stage. So really hope that we can do it more in the future.
And can you tell us a bit about the other musical projects you're involved with? You said that you work with Esther Swift, and I think you've got a small record label as well with her. Is that right?
Yeah. So we've been releasing our albums on our label Orange Feather Records since 2010.
Right, wow.
When we first made our first album, which is not on the merch desk anymore. That is a very green album, which is a very exclusive item now. But when the label, it just came about because we needed to release it under a name. Right. So we just have been releasing our albums on that ever since. And now this album's come out on Orange Feather, and Esther Soul stuff will be also as well. So it's nice to feel like we've got this little kind of collective of two, a sort of umbrella for and we help each other out in all of our projects, which is lovely. It's a lovely way of working. So yeah, I've got 12th Day. We're writing a new album at the moment, actually, that'll hopefully be out next year. And I've got Farah, my folk band with friends from Orkney, and we've been going for about 10 years almost. Yeah, we're kind of just doing gigs and tours and festivals and stuff this year, which will be nice. I've also got a new project called 13 North, which is a string ensemble. It's a new string ensemble for Scotland, which is focused on bringing classical music out of the concert hall and into more approachable, accessible spaces that, people who might not feel too comfortable coming to a traditional classical music concert in the concert hall might feel more comfortable coming to one of our gigs. So we want to just open up that genre, because it's sort of you know, it's got kind of a reputation for being elitist, and we feel strongly that that shouldn't be the case, and it should be music for everybody to enjoy. So we're working on that at the moment. We've just been funded by Creative Scotland, and there'll be a gig this summer in Glasgow, which will have some new commissions, and it will also have by 3 different Scottish composers, and it'll also have and a film aspect as well. So we want to be collaborating across genres and across art forms too. So we'll let you know, and you can maybe shout out on your show.
I certainly will. I can't wait to hear more about that. That sounds brilliant. Catriona, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much, Alistair. Really lovely to chat.
And this is Catriona Price and Storms.